What's going on, people? It's Gunsrar from NextGenTactics, and I'm bringing you a Call of Duty Black Ops weapon demonstration mini-series. Each video will showcase a specific weapon using only iron sights, no attachments, and no kill streaks to ensure that the video demonstrates the use of the weapon only. At the end of each video, I'll provide my personal opinion on the weapon and make recommendations in terms of attachments and in some cases perks and equipment. Alright, we're starting off with the MP5K, which is the very first SMG available to everyone, the start. So when you're prestiging, it's actually not a bad idea to get good at using this weapon. I would say in terms of the SMGs, number one, it's tied for the worst accuracy of all the weapons. So if you're looking to make those medium long-range shots by pulse firing, this is not the weapon that you want to be using, because it's just, you know, the sights. I mean, the iron sights are great on it, always has been. I mean, the iron sights are brilliant on this. For the most part, you're going to be able to make those, you know, short range to sort of easy medium range shots, but nothing more than that. This is a pure run and gun weapon. It is not bad by any means in terms of damage or fire rate, but it's not spectacular. I mean, they're not going to start you off in the game with something that's truly amazing. Now, you notice I got that shot there, which is kind of a medium long-range shot. Well, more medium range, but, you know, as long as you pulse fire, and if you pulse fire any weapon, you're going to be able to make those shots. However, for the most part, when you're using an SMG, the advantage of it is the fact that it's fully automatic. So you want to be able to be running and gunning with these weapons. When you have an SMG, you know, the intention when you go into a game should be, you know what, I'm going to run and gun, I'm going to mow these people down. And for that purpose, the MP5K is not a bad weapon to wield when you're actually going to pure run and gun. On these maps here, like the larger maps, you probably really don't want to be using the MP5K. Now, I'm going to make some recommendations at the end of this in terms of what you should or shouldn't be using with the actual MP5K. I mean, these are just my recommendations. Remember, feel free, depending on your play style and how, you know, your accuracies and everything like that is going to determine, largely influence rather, what attachments you use for any weapon. But when you're starting off with this weapon here, you know, when you're getting used to it, it's important that you associate certain attachments with certain weapons because of their characteristics. It can not only improve it, but also make that weapon incredibly deadly. Like when we talk about the AK-74U, there are certain attachments on there that make that, and perks rather, that make that weapon absolutely deadly, which is why a lot of people end up hating it. In terms of the MP5K, it's not a bad idea, especially if you're planning on going prestige and going all the way to the 15th prestige level, to get really good at using the MP5K. And the reason why is because it's always available to you. From start to finish of the actual entire game, you're always going to have access to the MP5. So if you become acclimatized to using it, kind of like what Spider-Bite does when he's doing his rushes, I mean, he uses this weapon because, number one, it's available. So no matter what, no matter where you're starting, you're always going to be able to have this. And it's a good way to show what it's capable of doing rather than saying, well, you need this or you need that or I can't do that. You know what I mean? It's really learning to use the weapon appropriately. With the AK-74U, I mean, you're going to make those long-range shots. It's deadly friggin' accurate and powerful. So, you know what? It's more advantageous. However, the MP5K doesn't offer that accuracy. As I said before, it is sort of tied for the worst accuracy. I think it's the Mac 11 is the other one that has horrible accuracy. Now, in terms of attachments, this is what I'm going to recommend. When you're playing with the MP5K, because of the accuracy issues, you're not going to be able to really improve that much. And there's no real point of actually even putting a red dot on it, because you shouldn't be focusing on doing the long-range shots. You can still get them, pulse them with the iron sights, but don't focus on them. If you're going to use the MP5K, purely focus on close quarter combat, like this engagement right here. This is a sort of instance that you want to have. Don't expose yourself by making those long-range, medium-range shots. Keep on the move, keep going, and try and get those, you know, sneaking up on the enemies. Now, a lot of that is going to actually be determined by your map awareness. If you know the maps well, you're going to be able to, you know, blaze up and own basically with any weapon. And that's true no matter what game you actually play. However, with the MP5K, stay on the move. Whether you know the maps or not, stay on the move constantly with the MP5. And what I would recommend is avoid the red dots. No good for that. I mean, don't even waste your time. The other thing that you may want to do is actually put extended mag on there. The accuracy issues with it sort of are problematic, but can be compensated by actually spraying. And I know spraying, people don't want that, but the accuracy, your accuracy is not going to be super high when using the MP5K anyway, unless you pulse fire. So what I would recommend is using extended mag, or in the other case, rapid fire. You can actually use suppressor as well, but again, you're going to want to make sure you get up real close, because number one, the accuracy is already bad. So you put on the friggin' suppressor and your range is reduced as well. So now your accuracy is down and your range is like probably the worst, or if not tied for the worst out of all the SMGs. So while yes, the suppressor is good, as long as you stay on the move, if you're playing something like Team Deathmatch and Free-For-All, there is no need to put on the actual suppressor. And my sort of mentality in this game, even in Search and Destroy, is you can use non-suppressed weapons to your advantage. I mean, when you shoot and you appear as a red dot on your enemy's map, it can actually mislead them or cause them to think that it's safe. But as long as you make that kill and you constantly move out of that kill zone where you've actually made it or fired your unsilenced weapon, you can actually use that to your advantage. Leave, either the enemy will think that you're in a certain location and make a mistake, or it gives you the opportunity to actually flank and surprise the enemy if he's somewhere else. Like, and I'm talking about Search and Destroy. But in terms of Free-For-All and Deathmatch, don't worry about the suppressor. It's a waste of time. Put on extended mag or rapid fire and you're good to go. But remember, stay on the move. Do not stay put. You want to be constantly moving and hunting around with this weapon. Now, in terms of perks, as I said, because you want to sort of stay on the move and your ability to sort of be more agile than your enemy will tell you more or less what you're going to be equipping in terms of perks. Now, perk 1, I would highly recommend using Lightweight Pro. If you're going for high kills, if you're able to reduce your deaths, and you're going for a high kill-death ratio, then I would recommend using Scavenger instead, because you're going to run out of ammo. So if that's your goal, then definitely put on Scavenger and keep moving. I don't actually hardly ever put on Lightweight Pro unless I'm playing Search and it's on a rush tactic that we're using. But other than that, you can go point to point, stay on the move with Scavenger, and it'll do you fine. But again, if you're struggling for kill deaths, I would recommend you put on Lightweight Pro until you start knowing the maps better. That'll give you the ability to run around like a friggin' puma on this map. In terms of perk number 2, perks like Harden is a waste of time. You're not going to be shooting people through anything. You're not going to be looking to penetrate them. So what I would actually look for is either steady aim or sleight of hand. Steady aim is going to help you because in a lot of instances, you're going to be shooting from the hip. Because you're constantly on the move, because you're going to be surprised by enemies, you want to have that steady aim available, which is going to be, way more effective since the accuracy is horrible. You will need the advantage of actually having that. The other reason, if you're having Scavenger and you're going through a lot of bullets, sleight of hand is definitely going to help you. And that actually, one of the two I always use with an SMG, steady aim or sleight of hand. Sleight of hand is going to allow you when you're friggin' blazing it up. If you spray a lot like I do, then you're going to definitely want sleight of hand because you're going to be going through clips like they're going out of style. Coupled with Scavenger, you're going to be just fine. Now, in terms of perk 3, what I would recommend in this one is either Marathon or Ninja Pro. Don't put on stuff like Second Chance, because what you're doing is you're already saying, you know what, I'm going to probably get killed. You got to keep the mentality that you're going to dominate. So put on Ninja to keep that sort of quietness when you're moving around. You can sneak up on the enemy easily. Or Marathon if you're going to be constantly on the move and you're, prowling around and you're not worrying about being sneaky. Either one will be great for this class. Anyway, that's it. That's the MP5K. Thanks for watching. Get the latest updates and stay in touch with the NGT community with our all-new Facebook application. Check the description of the video for details.